Have you ever looked into the eyes of someone you love and felt absolutely certain that they weren't who they claimed to be? We're not talking about a fleeting doubt, but an unshakable belief. The person standing there is an impostor, a stranger, a soulless replica. This is the dark and disturbing world of Capgras Syndrome, a rare and deeply unsettling mental disorder. People with this condition become convinced that their loved ones have been replaced by perfect copies. They look the same, sound the same, even act the same, but something feels disturbingly off. To someone with Capgras, these duplicates are nothing more than emotional impostors, puppets mimicking love. And instead of doubting the sensation, the mind creates a terrifying narrative. This is not my spouse. This is a stranger pretending to be them. The syndrome was named after Joseph Capgras, a French psychiatrist who first described the disorder in 1923. His patient believed her husband had been replaced by several lookalikes multiple times a day. She wasn't confused. She had no doubt. She was absolutely convinced that different men were pretending to be him. Capgras isn't a fleeting delusion. For many, it's an unquestionable truth, a certainty built upon their own distorted perception. But why does this happen? How can the human mind create such an intense and specific illusion? The most widely accepted explanation involves a disconnect between two areas of the brain: the system that recognizes faces and the limbic system, which is responsible for emotional responses. In other words, the person visually recognizes the face. They know who they're looking at, but they don't feel the expected emotional connection. There's no warmth, no familiarity, only emptiness. And to fill that void, the mind creates a justification. If I don't feel what I'm supposed to, then this person isn't who they appear to be. This phenomenon reveals how deeply we rely on emotion to validate reality. Recognition isn't just in the eyes, it's also in the heart. Cases of Capgras are often linked to disorders such as paranoid schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, Lewy body dementia, or traumatic brain injuries. There are also reports of Capgras following episodes of intense stress, emotional trauma, or abuse of psychoactive drugs. In severe cases, the patient begins to suspect everyone around them: friends, siblings, children, even their pet may seem like a disguised impostor. And worse, this belief can cause fear, anxiety, and even violence. There are documented cases of patients who attacked their loved ones, believing they were defending themselves from impostors. Imagine living with someone you love and seeing in their eyes not love, but suspicion and horror. Imagine being called fake or impostor by someone who has known you forever. And now imagine being that person, trapped in a world where every familiar face has become a mask. The touch is the same. The voice is the same. But inside you, everything feels wrong. Everything sounds like a trap. You feel like you're living in a theater, and everyone around you is acting. This feeling of rupture, of living in a simulated world, is one of the most distressing aspects of the syndrome. For the patient, it's like living in a nightmare they can't wake up from. And for the family, it's a silent pain. Seeing someone who loves you look at you like a stranger. Treatment for Capgras varies from case to case. It may include antipsychotics, mood stabilizers, cognitive behavioral therapy, and, in some cases, specialized neuropsychological support. But the hardest part often isn't treating the brain. It's restoring emotional trust. Some patients improve over time. Others live with the syndrome for years, experiencing unpredictable relapses. There are also curious cases where people recognize only one relative as an impostor, but continue to trust the others, as if the brain decides that only that specific relationship has been corrupted. This raises an intriguing question. Does the mind select who to reject based on painful memories? Or is it just random? Science doesn't have all the answers yet. But what is known is that Capgras syndrome forces us to face an uncomfortable truth. Our perception of reality is extremely fragile. It takes just a glitch in a neural pathway, and everything we considered solid love, family, identity can unravel. After all, who are we without our emotional memories? What does it mean to love someone if that love can disappear, even while their face remains unchanged? Perhaps, deep down, the most frightening thing about Capgras syndrome isn't the illusion, but what it reveals about the fragile nature of our connection to others. Pork no fim, das kantas, reconhesser, uno, apenas, ver, e center. Because, in the end, recognizing someone isn't just about seeing, it's about feeling. Did you like the content? Leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more fragments of the mind, where we reveal what many prefer to ignore.